You are listening to the UNO-AAUP Faculty Issues Podcast recorded on September 2, 2025. This is Episode 1, Transparency, Podium Education, and Gray's Dashboard. Thanks for listening. Hi, and welcome to the UNO-AAUP Faculty Issues Podcast. I'm Amy Ellefson, Vice President of UNO-AAUP. Each episode will take a few minutes to highlight issues that affect faculty at the University of Nebraska at Omaha. The goal of this podcast is simple: to give you context, background, and questions that you can bring into your department and college level conversations. Together, we can build equity and solidarity across campus. We want to get people talking to one another about these issues that are happening on campus. They're coming at us. It feels like it's very fast and furious. We at AAUP are trying to kind of gain some momentum and get more people involved. So this is one way that we're trying to do that. Today's overarching concern is transparency in how decisions are made, how partnerships are formed, and how the outcomes of the decisions are measured. UNO recently formed a partnership with Podium Education, a company that offers career-oriented courses marketed as career accelerator programs. These programs are promoted to students directly by their email as ways to build marketable skills in areas like data analytics, web development, and global entrepreneurship. But many faculty were surprised by this partnership, learning about it only after it had already launched, and students had been recruited through their email and even attended Zoom recruitment sessions with Podium Education. So questions still remain. How were faculty involved in this decision-making process? Which UNO programs or departments were consulted, if any? How will these courses count towards student credit hours? And how might they impact existing UNO courses and faculty workloads, including the ability to teach these courses or facilitate internships? I will note we do have UNO faculty who teach courses very similar to those offered by Podium Education. Without clarity, it's difficult for faculty to assess whether this partnership aligns with our mission of providing high-quality, faculty-led education. AAUP's fact-finding has produced little information beyond a LinkedIn post dated 4 months ago by Podium Education announcing their partnership with UNO. And the cost, $1,600 for a grouping of 3 to 4 synchronous online courses, billed as similar to an internship experience with major corporations. It's unclear how this online experience is similar to an internship or what percentage of that cost paid by students for non-UNO instruction comes back to the university. At the same time, UNO is using Gray's Dashboard, a data analytics tool that calculates the return on investment, or ROI, of academic programs down to individual faculty members. That's right, you too have an ROI at UNO. This tool is increasingly used by administrations across the U.S. in higher education to evaluate program viability and to make changes like increasing course caps and eliminating programs. But what does ROI mean in practice? Does it prioritize tuition revenue over educational value? Does it take into account faculty research, service, or community engagement? And what happens to programs, especially smaller ones, when the dashboard marks them as low ROI? These are not just abstract questions. They directly affect hiring, course offerings, graduate programs, especially smaller ones, and ultimately the long-term shape of UNO's academic mission. This fall, for example, this is a really concrete example, one online course had its enrollment cap raised from 60 to 125 students without faculty consultation. The same course, being taught in person in the spring, will also have a course enrollment cap of 125 students. As faculty, you know what it does to a course to have that enrollment cap raised. Can you imagine having it doubled? So administration is currently using this data and taking action now to increase profitability. Most of these actions feel like they are certainly not in the best interest of our students, staff, or faculty. we understand a budget crunch. We understand what legislative decisions and other current financial situations are doing to the face of the university's budget. However, some of these decisions seem very short-sighted and lacking some faculty input. So now that you have this information, what can you do with it? We're asking you to take small actions and to talk to your colleagues. So here are some questions to consider raising in your next department or college meeting. What role will faculty have in evaluating partnerships like Podium Education? How is Gray's dashboard data being used in decision-making at UNO? What values beyond financial ROI will guide decisions about academic programs? How do we ensure transparency and shared governance in these processes when access to the data is restricted? I ask you to consider raising these questions at that next meeting and work to foster meaningful dialogue about our shared academic future here at UNO. Thanks for joining me for this first episode of the UNO-AAUP Faculty Issues Podcast. These are absolutely complex topics. They are multi-layered, and there are opinions and issues on all sides. Have good conversations, reach out to your colleagues, work to make it happen. We can support one another and we can strengthen our voice as faculty. We invite you to join UNO-AAUP in continuing to work for equity, transparency, and solidarity across our campus community. Until next time, thanks for listening.